All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, all praises to the Most High. And here you see him, 40-year-old Thomas Sanford. This is the white man who drove a truck laden with explosives into a Mormon church yesterday and opened fire, killing 4 people and wounding 8, as well as setting the whole entire church on fire. Now, I am going to give you some details about who this man is and his history. Actually, another Iraqi war veteran, just like the young white boy down in North Carolina who did something similar, mass shooting. But I'm also going to show you this quick video, which details the timeline of events that happened that day. And I'm also going to show you some pictures as well to give you a little bit of insight about this culture of good old white American violence, cloaked in good old country boy living. But just watch this video, and this video is fair use for literary and commentary purposes only. Just watch.
A tragic scene unfolded Sunday in Grand Blanc, Michigan. A 40-year-old man rammed his vehicle into a church building, opened fire on worshipers with an assault rifle, and then set the building ablaze. At least 2 people are dead and 8 others injured, according to Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renier. The attack happened during a large Sunday service at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, just 50 miles north of Detroit. Authorities have identified the suspect as Thomas Jacob Sanford, age 40, from nearby Burton, Michigan. Police say Sanford deliberately drove his pickup truck through the church doors, opened fire on worshipers, and then set the building on fire. 7 victims are currently in stable condition, and 1 remains in critical condition.
I bring all these folks up here on stage today because we couldn't do this as a community without everyone who's standing up here today. I'm going to provide an update from the incident that we spoke about earlier today that occurred at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at 10:25 a.m. I want to talk about our officer's response. That call came out at 10:25 a.m. and 32 seconds. We had officers on scene at 10:25 and 57 seconds. The suspect, again, we're in the preliminary stages right now, was neutralized at 10:33:44 in the parking lot of that church. That suspect is a 40-year-old male from the city of Burton, who we identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford. That's Thomas Jacob Sanford, Sanford. Currently where we're at, an update, I gave you 10 victims who were victims of gunshot. Since then, we have 2 victims who are now deceased. One had died at a local hospital. And again, that suspect is deceased as well. 7 other victims at this time are in stable condition. 1 is in critical condition.
2 police officers pursued the suspect outside the church. After an exchange of gunfire, Sanford was shot and killed. Police believe he acted alone. Authorities also believe Sanford deliberately set the blaze that engulfed the church. Smoke and flames poured from the building for hours before firefighters got it under control. The motive behind this deadly attack is still unknown. Investigators are now searching Sanford's home for answers.
He drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. Officers who were trained immediately responded to the area. One was a DNR officer, and then one was a Grand Blanc Township officer, where they met the suspect and they engaged in gunfire with that particular individual, neutralizing that suspect. And that suspect is no longer with us. As I said, it is a 40-year-old male from Burton. During all this incident as well, there was a fire that occurred, and we believe that was deliberately set by the suspect. We do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure. That fire was just extinguished by the Grand Blanc Township Fire Department within the past hour. We're going to do search warrants on the suspect's residence. We're going to find out if there was a motive. We're going to go through cell phone records, things like that. We have the FBI, they're devoting 100 agents to this area because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of witnesses that were within the church, and that is a lot of witness information, statements that we have to obtain.
The tragedy comes as church members were already mourning the death of Russell M. Nelson, the 101-year-old president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who passed away just the night before. Church officials released a statement saying, "Places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peace and prayer, and they are praying for all victims and their families." The community of Grand Blanc is in shock tonight, struggling to make sense of this violence inside a place meant for worship and healing.
All right, so I'm going to stop it there. There you have a brief synopsis of everything that happened, but I'm going to give you a little more detailed information. Now, that guy, Thomas Sanford, served in the Iraqi war from 2004 to 2008. He served in the military and served in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2007. No doubt he probably took some lives over there and learned how to kill very efficiently. Now, when he came home, he got married, and then he had a young son. Now, they said that this young son had CPI, which is something hyperinsulinism, which, gave him a very grave existence. However, the family has been traveling, here and there to Texas, I think, and getting the son medical treatment. Now, they're using that in several articles, I think, to garner sympathy for this man who obviously had some mental issues. Just look at this picture that I'll show you right here. This picture is full of, insanity. If in my opinion, but also this is another picture that I want people to focus on. There you see him with a deer and those antlers right there. So anytime you see people hunting and, they have an appetite for death, they have an appetite for killing, they have an appetite for destruction, in my opinion. And you see him there holding the deer as a trophy, meaning this is a kill. And, you see a lot of quote unquote country boys who like guns, like killing animals. And what is the first sign of a serial killer, right? They say they like to kill animals. So eventually this is what happens, in my opinion. But also look at this picture as well. Now, this is his truck. This is the truck, and this is where he drove the truck into the building of this church, Mormons, Church of Latter-day Saints. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But you see those two flags right there on the back of the truck. Anytime that I see, trucks with those flags, I just think about, the 1950s or the 30s when guys rode around with trucks like that with flags on their bumper to, terrorize Black people. So that's still what I see today. Anybody that I see who flies flags on their trucks like that, there's another picture of it. It just exudes that "Make America Great Again" rhetoric that I think is very contributed to this violence that we have seen by white men on other white men. And once again, this is another angle of him driving his truck into that church. Now, mind you, this happened at 10:25, where hundreds of worshipers, Latter-day Saints worshipers, as they mentioned, were mourning the loss of their 101-year-old president. Now, I must point out that there were nothing but white people in that service. I can 100% guarantee. And you know why? Because people of the Church of Jesus of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, they don't believe in black people even having the sanctity of humanity on earth. They think black people are cursed. They don't have any affiliation with them. And so that is also a reason why I say that this is a form of probably retribution from the Most High on those individual people. You know, you can't live in a world of hatred and, malady towards a group of people without hatred and malady coming against you as well. And so we've seen that with, a lot of these mass shootings that has occurred in, the last couple of days. Now, this, once again, is a culture, I believe, that is evident in American society. The culture of hatred, the culture of violence, the culture of, my way or the highway. I recently saw a video where a group of men were in LA or wherever they were, and they were screaming, "White men fight back. White men fight back." And my question is, who are you fighting back against? Other white men? Because all of these mass shootings, all of these killings, all of these shootings of police officers are from white men killing other white men. So my question to that constituency is, who are you fighting back against? And this also, once again, speaks to a deeper issue of Iraqi military war veterans. Even though that happened 20 years ago, you just don't come back from a battlefield of killing, death, and destruction and just begin to be normal again. And I received an email from another military veteran talking about the lack of benefits. I've been speaking with a few veterans locally who claim that, Trump has cut veterans benefits and, they have changed the structure. So it's hard for these veterans to get benefits. As I mentioned in the last video, there's a lot of veterans who are suffering from mental health. That they say at least 22 veterans a day unalive themselves, which is very rarely talked about, but that should be very talked about. So you're talking about 22 people a day. If my math is correct, that's about 8,000 people a year who are unaliving themselves because of mental health regarding to the wars that they have fought. And then they come back here, and the people who they have defended, quote unquote, don't give them the necessary resources. So then they react to acts of violence like this guy, like that guy in North Carolina, or like these police officers that, kill innocent men, women, and children in neighborhoods. So this is deep in all sorts of levels. It's definitely spiritual as well. Once again, the, reaping and sowing of the American nation and the violence that has been perpetrated, not only here, but also abroad on other people. Like these military veterans, they didn't just go over there and sell apple pies to the people in Iraq or Fallujah, Afghanistan, and Turkey, Syria. Nah, they was over there taking life, limb, and, causing destruction. So, definitely they're going to take that same energy. Energy is never disappeared. It's only transferred, moved from one place to the other. So, I just pray, for God's mercy on the people who had nothing to do with the evil in America when he pronounces divine judgment on this country. As we see, it looks like already started. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. If you like this content and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. But I generally thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to this channel. And as always, I pray you have peace and blessings. Scripture says all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long.